I'm Andy Berry, a pastor and parent still learning how to disciple not only the kids in my own home, but the kids in my ministry. So I'm having conversations with innovative leaders who are fostering a strong partnership between the church and the home. This is the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. Welcome back to the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. My name is Andy Berry, and today we are joined by Dr. Trisha Peach. She's an ordained minister with a degree in children's pastoral studies and 17 years experience as a full-time staff pastor. She's authored 2 books, Your Children's Ministry from Scratch, which has now been turned into a textbook, and Your Children's Ministry Beyond Basics, which just launched around the world. Trisha enjoys traveling and speaking all over the country, helping churches grow a dynamic children's ministry that will last. She's a sci-fi junkie, a sushi enthusiast. She shares her life and ministry with her husband of 26 years, Scott, and their 2 children, Logan and Eliana. We are delighted to have her on this episode where she talks about not only her work with the Nurturing Faith Collective, doing communications and social media, but really how she incorporates the gifts that God has given her to do those things into her everyday ministry context. I think you're going to walk away with practical, tactical steps that you can implement today, tomorrow, or next week in your ministry context. Enjoy this episode with Dr. Trisha Peach. Well, hey, Trisha, welcome to the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. You are joining us from, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say Wisconsin, but I said it. I
heard it.
How is Wisconsin? It's wonderful.
It's good.
You have no cheese head on. You have no cheese head on.
I took it off for our podcast.
I think those of us outside of Wisconsin assume that your decor is cheese, that your attire is cheese. Is this a misconception about Wisconsins?
Oh, I think it'd be more Packers. There's people at Packer sweatshirts, Packer decor.
Gotcha.
But we're definitely big cheese eaters. Yes.
I love it. I love it. So you must be really good at charcuterie boards.
Oh man, I'm the best. It's like a artwork on Christmas Eve. Yes.
Oh, you really get into it.
Well, it's hard to even get it out there before they all start eating it.
I know.
Yeah, there's cheese, all kinds of different cheeses and sausages, and then you got to put some mixed nuts, and that's so Wisconsin.
It is. A charcuterie board is like a wonderful thing to bring to a group gathering, but you will spend the most money of all your friends who brought things.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. You want to be the one that just brings a bag of chips.
Yeah, exactly. I'll bring the cups. I will sign up for the cups and napkins.
Yeah.
I will say I am very proud of my charcuterie skills.
I
am. Yeah, I started hosting like volunteers at my house and different people and team leaders and staff and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna get good at this. And so I had a charcuterie board made with our name engraved on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's another podcast though. This is the Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. And so we've been delighted the last couple of months to have different members of the team on the podcast and talking about some of the work the initiative is doing. And you have such a niche, a unique role on the team because your work touches every team. I'm just over here in my own corner recording podcast, but you're working with every team. So tell us about your work with the collective.
I'm thrilled to be a part of the team. I'm excited to get to do what I do. It's been about a year and a half because they pulled me on board before the launch, which is smart so that you can really start to push things out there. So the Nurturing Faith Collective is a team made up of many graduates of Bethel University. So Bethel Seminary, master's degree in children's and family ministry is now, I got to get this right, children's family youth Master of Arts degree.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yes. So
I think that's it.
Because it's a little, they added the youth ministry portion after I graduated.
Which is great. Yeah, me as well. Me as well.
Yes. So there's graduates from there, and the 3 founders of the Nurturing Faith Collective, Dr. Denise Muir-Keesbo, Dr. Luz Galvez de Figueroa, and Shelley Henning, they came together and had this dream that we could use the resources that were written, and all of that has been invested in these graduates, which I think is brilliant. You've got
Right.
graduates from a master's level program in children's and family ministry who wrote for all these different classes. They wrote children's ministry curriculum, they wrote children's ministry programming, they wrote job descriptions. They had all of this experience and all of these things that they'd written. So the dream was, we're going to put out free resources for parents and for ministry leaders. We're going to have a podcast that teaches and helps all of these people be equipped, parents and ministry leaders, a podcast just for them. We're going to write materials from scratch to help people, and that's where the book Partnering Church and Home came from. So the book has been the cornerstone of the resources that have come out. And we're going to go teach at conferences, we're going to go present, we're going to do all these things. And then there's a counseling piece, and the counseling coaching piece, where they are coaching not just ministry leaders but parents too, because we parents need support.
Right.
I'm a parent myself. I have a son and a daughter. My son is on the autism spectrum, and he just graduated from college with his degree in physics. So we parents need support as well. And so ministry leaders and parents can get support with personalized coaching.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. We can't help anybody if nobody knows about it.
Right. This is a the way that I've described it to folks is, in the same way that you said, hey, all this great work was done, and it's like, hide it under a bushel. No. Like, we want to get all these thoughts, all this wisdom, all this learning, all these strategies. We want to get it out to people. And
Yes.
that's where your work comes in.
And that's where I come in. So I remember this back when my first book was being published, Your Children's Ministry from Scratch. And I asked a marketing specialist, what do I need to do? And he said, what you're going to have to build is a platform, and that's where it launches from. Well,
Yeah.
I'm old enough where I'm thinking, no, you publish it and you get it out there, but that doesn't work anymore.
Right.
That doesn't work anymore. People don't just look at magazine ads and suddenly understand things. It doesn't work that way anymore.
Right.
Newspaper article.
Some of our listeners are like, what's a magazine? Those things in the grocery store. Wait, I don't go to the grocery store. I have them delivered now, so I don't know what a magazine is. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, you're going to have to start writing blogs. You're going to have to start having a YouTube channel. You're going to have, and I said, I don't want to do any of that. And he said, that's nice. You better get started. So you're going to have to work on. So I had to learn all of that the hard way. I'm turning 48, so this was not natural for me. I had to just get into it. I was younger back then, but I had to figure it out. So for the Nurturing Faith Collective, my job is pushing out the information for all of the branches onto social media. So I'm the social media coordinator.
Right.
So as a social media coordinator, I'm supposed to be promoting the podcast. I'm supposed to promote, I need to promote our coaching. I need to promote our resources. I need to promote the book. I need to promote where they're doing workshops and speaking at conferences. So I had to take a lot of classes for this position, which was great. The Nurturing Faith Collective paid for me to go take classes on it and learn everything I could learn. And boy, I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot. And we post every single day. Every day.
Yeah.
So, every weekday, Monday through Friday.
Consistency is king here, right?
Yes. Yes. So
you took something, and this has been I think common in the conversations that we've had with folks that are part of the Nurturing Faith Collective is, hey, you took something that a skill that you had developed out of necessity in your own work, whether that be in a
Yep.
ministry context or publishing a book or whatever it may be. And you're using those gifts in this collective. And so I think for me, that one of the most exciting things is we're talking to parents, we're talking to leaders, we're talking to faith
Mm.
influencers, who are saying, well, hold on a second. I have a little bit of a knowledge of something. I have a little bit of gift of something.
Yeah.
And then we're going, great, here's how you can leverage it to disciple a child, to share the gospel, to live out the Great Commission. Here's how you can leverage your gifts, because that's all we're doing. Technically, walk me through, like, what's a skill you didn't have that maybe you've had to develop along the way?
Oh my goodness. I've had to have a lot of just skill work over the years where God's had to grow me in different areas. One would be learning brand new computer programs. Seems like
Sure.
as soon as you learn one, there's another one that comes out.
I know.
And then another, and they don't remove one. I mean, like whoever the powers that be, I was a school
Right.
teacher, so we did the same thing where you have one system that does this so well, and then the next one comes out, but they don't get rid of the first one. You have to be operating in two, and then there's a third one, and then there's a
Right.
fourth one. And I just started to take the mindset that I can learn it. If
Yeah.
I have to do YouTube tutorials, if I have to message somebody and say, "Hey, how should I go about this?" I can do it. I will do it.
Right.
Um, and I tend to be a pretty quick learner as far as that goes. I'd have to learn these new programs, new ways of doing things. Okay, we were doing this, but no, we're gonna. This is much more effective. And I guess the best way to think of it is to hold my plans loosely,
Sure. Yeah.
which I think I learned pretty well as a special ed teacher, that you have these plans of how you think it's going to work, and then
Right.
somebody comes in with a great idea, and it is a great idea, and you go, okay, I don't know how to do that, but I will learn,
Right.
because this is a good idea. I
Right.
had to learn a lot about marketing. I'd never done blogs before at that point. I had to learn to be consistent about putting things out every single day around the same time. I had to learn how hashtags work. I I knew hashtags existed, but I didn't
Right.
know any of the science, the algorithms behind it, and I had to learn.
Right.
Um,
And
I
so
yeah,
I think about I consider myself to sort of in the same way that you do, where you go, like, I can learn this. Like a new platform will come out, a new social media platform, a new design software, a new whatever, and I'll go, I can figure this out, right? Like you said, I can watch enough YouTube tutorials, and or we launch a new database at our church, and I go, oh, I can figure this out. Um,
absolutely.
and but I think about the person that always comes to mind for me is that part-time or unpaid ministry leader, who their church has said, "Hey, you're really good with kids. Would you come in and
Yeah.
lead our children's ministry?" Or, "Hey, you're really great with teenagers. Would you lead our student ministry? We need you to come up with a curriculum of what they're going to do, and we need you to recruit the
Mhm.
leaders, and we need you to plan the events that they're going to do, and we need you to make sure the spaces are ready to go every week, and we need you to do some parent communication. And oh, by the way, it'd be really nice if we had like social media presence," right? And so all of a sudden that person is going, I don't necessarily have time. They're listening to you right now going, wait a minute, you're telling me that I have to post something every day, right? So what encouragement can we give to that person who is for sure listening, who's going, okay, I'm going to add some sort of digital communication, either social media, or I'm going to start a blog, or I'm going to start a podcast, or send out videos, or something. What encouragement would you give to that person who's like, listen, I'm barely getting it done as it is,
Oh.
and now I got to take this step?
What I would encourage you with is whatever social media you use can actually save you a lot of time in the long run, as well as be your best communication tool for
Hmm.
parents, for partnering with parents
Right.
and with kids and partnering with your leaders, your volunteer leaders. I'm actually teaching a workshop on this at CPC this year. It's your heavyweight digital media presence. So
Oh,
it
is that
is,
where the boxing gloves come from on your website?
yeah, the boxing gloves and the red.
Right.
Yeah, so really we did some kind of studying on this. I was working on staff for several years at a very large church as the children's pastor. So I was not a social media director there. I was the children's pastor, and I would get frustrated with it. We tried communicating with parents and volunteers over our website. It was getting like zero traffic. It
Sure.
was not getting any traffic, and then you'd push it out and push it out. Church bulletin. We put it in our church mailings that went home. We sent papers home with kids. We put it on the website, and we still had all these parents wait for it. Nobody ever told me.
Right, right, of course.
Right. And they're
Yeah.
upset that they weren't told. And so, kind of as an experiment, we launched a Facebook page for the kids ministry, which I'm sure many of those
Right.
watching have. We got so much traffic on it. We got
Right.
a lot of traffic on it. So, parents were going there first to see if we'd put something on it. It took a
Right.
little while to train people.
Right.
And at
But
the go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, I mean, the fact of the matter is they were already there, right?
Yes.
Like you
Yes.
went to where they already were.
Oh, good point.
And so that made your message so much easier to find. As opposed to saying, "Hey, come over here to where we've put our stuff." You go, "Oh, we'll come to where you are." So
So
I'm
good.
sorry, keep going.
That's so good. And it's kind of like back to what that marketing director told me when I said, I don't want to learn it. And he said, that's nice. So this is what you're going to need to do. Digital media is the way our culture moves. That is the way
Yeah.
our culture uh, talks. So we use that for volunteers. We use that. Our volunteers actually responded more by text. So we used text blasts for that. We used email blasts if it was lots of instructions, and
Right.
we had to streamline communication and then be persistent. We had to be always punctual, uh, consistent. That's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for. Um, but I would encourage you that if you can streamline that and train your parents and your volunteers that this is the way we're going to communicate, you'll save yourself so much time and running around,
Right.
and people will get the facts, and you'll also be able to outreach, because I know sometimes families looking for a new place to go to church, they're going to look online first. I did.
Absolutely.
I did.
Absolutely.
What's there for my kids? And they see that Facebook page, and it should be done right. It should have the time and the effort
Right.
to have it done with excellence, or whichever social media that you are using. Uh, so I would encourage them, the skills that you have already, God's been preparing you for what you're going to do.
Right.
Um, I travel so much around the country, sometimes do consulting, and I always hear the same thing. I don't know if you've ever heard this, Andy, but I hear this all the time. I'm just holding down the fort till they can get a real
Sure.
children's pastor.
Sure.
I have no background and experience in this. I'm just doing my best. And then I try not to laugh, because I'll say, well, what experience do you already have? What
Right.
experience bring to the table? Oh, nothing at all. I was a pediatric nurse for 25 years, so I have no experience that would be relevant.
Right.
I'm going,
Come on now.
come on now. God's been preparing you.
And
And
sometimes the resource is not necessarily a skill that you have, but it's a person within your congregation.
yes,
So,
yes.
if you are wholly intimate, not holy, WHOLLY, if you are wholly intimidated by anything web, anything website, social media, communication, I promise you there is someone in your congregation who's good at this, right? Who
Yes.
may say, yeah, I'm not really great at working with kids. And we go, that's actually not what that's not what gifting we need. The gifting we need from you is the thing that God has given you, which is you're tech savvy. Can you come and do this with us? I love those are the two places, by the way, that I find the most like I find the most. I'm trying to find a way to say this in the right way. I find the most use for people like that's, but I don't want to say we're
Yes.
using people, but it's people who are like, can you take a picture? Can you
Yes.
record a video? Can you post on like social media? That's one skill set, that I go. Who cares if you're not good with working with kids? You have this gift. The other is
Yes.
like old um real grizzled guys who can build stuff that they go.
Yes.
They're like, I'm never gonna come and teach a story in your preschool small groups, but I can build you a set. I can build you an arc if you're teaching that story, right? So I have found more
Fantastic.
use for those two types of people. So I want to also just say, I think today, I think doing family ministry today, it is essential. I think it's now essential that we at least have clear expectations of what's going to happen when you arrive on your website,
Mm,
right? So your church's website should say, if nothing else, it should have a page that says for children, this is what happens when you arrive, right? Because that new family is going to want to know that. And that is so
so
helpful
good.
before they come in.
Yes.
So at least working on that, right? And then from a social media standpoint, I get it. I don't. My children's ministry has an Instagram account. We do not post every day, so we are not playing the game the right way, right? Like we
Mm,
don't post every day, every week, even. So we're not playing the game the right way. But here's what we have come up with. We've just said, like you said, before a new family comes, they're gonna wonder who we are.
yes.
So when that we're going to give them a link, and when they find us on Instagram, we have now curated like our grid is like, this is what we want you to know about us. This is what we
Yes.
want you to see. So it's not an ongoing promotion of things, and it's not up to date all the time, but it's like, hey, this is the flavor of who we are.
Yes.
And we just keep that updated. And so even just go, hey,
Yes.
can you get 9 pictures that just that just tell the story of what your ministry is, and pin what you want and keep it right there. So that's a great first step for people, who may feel overwhelmed by this. Um, Talk about your current ministry context. Like, what does that look like for you?
Well, boy, have I been busy. Um, for 17 years, I was a full-time staff children's pastor and absolutely loved it. Just my dream job.
Yeah.
And I stepped back to write my books and then go back to school. So that's where I went to Bethel Seminary, which most people would say you'd go to a seminary first and then no, I was a
Right.
children's pastor first and
Flipped
then
it.
I
Yeah.
went to seminary for my master's and my doctorate.
Yeah.
And during that time, I also taught in the public school system for 11 years. So I got my special ed certification. And just recently, and this is again that family ministry piece, I just started working as a hospice chaplain full time.
Mm,
Um, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
yeah.
And Bethel prepared me for that. We had some hospice classes for my doctorate. And I thought, this is just so great that you get to be there with people and their families during one of the
Right.
most critical times of anyone's life.
Right.
I also am heavily involved at my church. We jumped in when the church was super small and it has grown and grown and grown. Um, right now, I love my church. I just absolutely love it. Love volunteering there. I don't get paid at my church. I volunteer. But I think we've got a lot of young people, a lot of young kids at my church. So just about everybody
Yeah.
is my age or younger with young kids. So we've got a great
Nice.
pastor. Shout out to Pastor Kevin and Amy. Um, yeah, I love at my church is a totally different feel. Any of you watching that understand that when you've been a staff pastor for years and
Right.
then you go to being a volunteer. So you're
Yeah,
just
let's dive into that for a second because in previous episodes we have talked about like a Tina, for instance,
Mhm.
who
Oh yeah.
was on a staff and then rolled off and is now trying to figure out like how can I just be a normal person at the church? Um Not like there's anything normal about if you're around kids and students, there's nothing normal, but um what switches have you had to turn off as you've
Mm.
made this transition?
That that's a big question. It is a very strange feeling, especially if you got your identity from that title of children's pastor. Um,
Ooh,
and then, yeah,
yeah.
we moved back up here because both sets of our parents were getting older and needing a lot of help. And then we lost my
Mhm.
husband's father last year, and we were just glad we could be here, that we were able to be a
Hmm.
part, and make those
Right.
memories. So then find myself volunteering instead of a staff pastor. And when you go to all these conferences, if you're going to any conferences, the first thing they'll say is, "So where are you at? Where are you at?" And I
Right.
see other ministry leaders that are, they're almost ashamed to say, well, I'm bivocational, or I'm I'm part-time, which we
Right.
know they were hired for 17 hours and they're probably working 48, you know? They're
That's
not
right.
paid for 48, but they're
That's right.
pouring it
Come on,
out.
church AR.
Eh,
Come
eh,
on, church HR offices. Where are you?
Where are you? Where are you? And they feel like they're
Right.
less than. They feel like they are not, a real ministry leader because they're not paid full time. But
Right.
That's that's baloney. The best I heard is the gifts and calling of God are irrevocable. So your calling is always there, but your assignment changes. So my
Love it.
assignment was as a staff pastor for a while, then in the public school, which boy, that ministry. That is ministry, let me tell you. And now as a hospice chaplain, I feel like I'm running the gambit of family ministry here. But I think
You
as
really
of
have gone from I don't mean to be insensitive, but it's in the phrasing of this, like cradle to the grave, like,
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you have done each and every phase of life that you can do in ministry.
true. I've really enjoyed it, and I think just a time and a season for everything. And I understand those watching that are saying, God,
Right.
I'm not telling you no. I just want to know what you want me to do. And I'm
Right.
not a real ministry leader. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Paid or
Right.
unpaid makes no difference. You are
So
a ministry leader.
so maybe I phrased the question the wrong way. Maybe instead of what switches have you had to turn off, it's what switches have you had to turn on? And one of those switches is a new perspective on what it means to be a volunteer.
Yes. Yes.
And how valuable that is. And that's not a lesser option within the church. I
Mm.
mean, I know that those of us who have like you said, a title or a set of responsibilities, like I don't have greater value in my church than the volunteer who's leading second and third grade boys. We're
Right.
all we're all using our gifts, we're all on the same mission. So
Yeah.
um but at the same time, you're like, that's not you. That's not how I used to do it. That's not how
Yes.
that's not how I would have told that story. I think if
Yes.
we're honest, right? Like we can
Oh. Well, and
that's a
like
struggle sometimes.
that'd probably be a learning to let go thing for me is
Right. Right.
like our pastor. Uh, Actually, we have a really great children's ministry leader at our church named Linda, very devoted. Um, and
Shout out Linda.
yes, shout out to Linda. Woo. And pastor would say, I want something at the Christmas season with the kids, and she does a phenomenal job. And I just remember these huge productions that I would put on with like musicals and tons of work, and we'd all be half dead by Christmas Eve, um and going, okay, this is
Right.
really good what she's doing, and I'm going to get behind her and support what she's doing there. Um,
Right.
because, not insisting things be my way. And I think when I first
Right.
started, she might have been like, uh-oh, is Trish going to be a problem? Is Trish going to be
Sure.
like, oh, that's not how I would have done it? And I have
Sure.
been just so relieved that we have her.
Yeah.
And I've said in the past, sometimes you have to let go of how you would do things because every kid's pastor is different. Every kid's pastor is
Right.
different. I
Right.
have enjoyed getting to turn off certain things, like
I bet.
um, she does a great job with visitor follow up. She does a phenomenal job with, the kids' musicals and stuff. And uh, pastors like, well, we should, have a do some paperwork on, incident reporting. I'm like, oh, man, I'd just
Right.
be
Ah,
bummed to miss that meeting.
yeah.
Uh,
There was I followed a great leader at my current
mm,
church. I followed a wonderful children's minister named, her name was Peg Webb,
mm,
and shout out Peg Webb. And, you know, she stayed. She had been at the church she had been in music ministry, and then she was coming towards the end of her career, working a
mm,
time. And she said, hey, I'll do kids. That we had a little bit of a gap in leadership. She said, I'll do that for the time being and until I'm done. And then I came in. Well, she stayed, and I became dear friends with her. And I told her after about a year, I said, Peg, the greatest gift that you have given me in this first year is not one time have you come to me and said, well, that's not how I did it. Not
oh,
one time. And I said, you probably watched me make mistakes and
yes.
you let me make them. And that was the greatest gift to me because then I get to learn. Right. And so, and then we were at an event and there was a quick decision that had to be made. And I was kind of looking at my team going, what do you guys think? I kind of know what I think, but what do you guys think? And she
Mhm.
looked at me and she goes, I've never told you that I wouldn't do it that way, but I would not do it that way. And that was a good time. It was a good time to bring it out. So yes, if you've been in the seat, if you've been in the role,
Yes.
whether that be as a volunteer or a staff person, and now somebody else has your set of responsibilities in the church, there
Yes.
is a great way to partner with them. And sometimes that way to partner with them is letting it play out, letting them even fail so they can learn from it.
Oh,
And so thank goodness for the Lindas and for the Pegs.
oh my
Um,
goodness. We need more kids ministry leaders, not less. And I realized
right.
the world is better off with me not in charge of everything. I'm going to fly off. I'm too
Sure.
much of a perfectionist. And
Sure.
we have this great balance right now of she heads up kids church year round and I'm on the
Right.
rotation, right? I'm on the rotation as a
Yeah.
volunteer. And then Wednesday nights, she's got that during the school year. But in the summer, I have my own team, mainly made up of college students. And then my team and we take over Wednesday nights in the summer to give Linda and her team a break.
Oh, nice.
So they have a break all summer, and then we just did the handoff, and it went so well. We just did the handoff. I finished at the end of the summer. She was so gracious, celebrated our team how great it was, and then we were like, "Hey kids, now that you're here, you love this," and then start the school year, and we
Right.
hand off to Linda and her team, and it's growing like crazy, and kids are coming to Jesus, and it's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, there are people like Linda or people like
Mhm.
Peg or people like me or you who are thinking, yeah, I'm in this, and you guys are talking about social media. You're talking about having to have website pages. You're having your blogs and having to be so consistent with this. And oh, and by the way, like the incident report meeting and all of those things. And one of the questions I have tried to ask every single person that's come on this podcast is, what would you say to the person who is saying, this game has changed so much since I started. And there are all these new pieces. And I don't know that I have that skill set. I don't know that I have the energy to learn these things. I think it may be time that I bow out. How would you encourage that leader, whether that be a paid staff person, pastor, volunteer, parent, whoever it is? How would you encourage them?
If it was one of my volunteers, I would be like, "Hey, Moses never retired. Retirement's not in the Bible." I'd be like, "Okay, so, uh,
Right.
you leave when God tells you to leave. You leave when God lifts the burden for this ministry. If you're still passionate about it, you're where you
Sure.
need to be." And I would tell them to, like you were saying, surround themselves with people that are good at that. And a lot of times that's what I've had to do. In fact, I've had to humble myself. Um, we had times with a certain uh, worship program that we were trying to run that I had a sixth grader who's like, "Move aside. I've got this. Pastor Trish, did you touch it? I hope you didn't wreck anything." "No, the levels are way off. This is how it needs to go." And I had no idea what he was talking about, and he fixed it. It was running right at that point. So
Right.
I've had to surround myself with people who do know how to do it and how to make it happen, and let
Yeah.
them go in their strengths.
Now, and I will say, I mean, we've talked in previous episodes about like there is sometimes a very clear calling to move
Yes.
on. Like,
Yes.
and that is okay. We are not
Absolutely.
suggesting, hey, you stay in this role because we can't find anybody else to do it. And if you
No.
leave, this whole thing crumbles.
No.
That's not the posture here. The
Mm-mm.
posture is, and I love the way that you said it, if you still have the passion for this, and I want to be really clear because I don't want people to confuse fatigue with a lack of passion, right? Like
Right.
you can continue to be passionate about this and be burdened by this and
Yes.
also feel fatigued. And so
Yeah.
it's not, oh, I've lost the burden or the passion for this. It's I got to find some help, right?
Yes.
And so again, we've talked today about, hey, there are people in your church that can help you with not only the communication side of things, the social media side of things. You talk about sixth graders, like, hello, find a middle schooler, find a high schooler,
Yes.
and they will tell you everything about your phone and how to use it.
Oh, yeah.
Um, we, whether that be crafting, craft folks that can write lessons, folks that can communicate with parents, whatever it may be,
Yes.
build a team, right? Build a
Yes.
team. And I think that is also so key in the communication and social media piece. Like I cannot tell you the number of times that something incredible has happened on a Sunday morning and I have not seen it, right? I was in a different room, but I thankfully
Yes.
have enough people that they go, "Oh, we know that we're doing that really cute thing in preschool today where the kids are putting on the astronaut helmets. Okay, we're going to make sure we snag a picture of that, right?"
Gotta get
So I
pictures.
have an
Gotta get them.
I have enough people, positioned in the right places. So, yeah, absolutely lean on the help and if you're looking for more help, we cannot suggest the coaching
Yes.
from Nurturing Faith Collective enough. We can't suggest it
Yes.
enough. The coaching initiative is up and running, and we would love for folks to engage in that. We would also highly recommend if you are thinking, well, maybe I did this out of order, like Trisha. If you're in a ministry role and you're thinking, I
Yes.
would love some more training, some more education, Bethel Seminary is a great option for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Wonderfully convenient online programming that you can engage in. And then lastly, come back and listen to more podcast episodes because again, we're just
Amen.
having interesting conversations. These are conversations that I'm having anyway with friends and colleagues. And we just want people to listen in.
Yes.
We don't want to hide this under a bushel. We just want people to hear it. So come back and join us next time for the next
Please
episode of the
do.
Nurturing Faith Collective podcast. Trisha, thank you so much for
Anytime.
your
Thank
time,
you.
your insight, your passion, your experience. Thank you for sharing all that with us today.
Anytime. And God bless everybody.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.